At the moment it seems all I ever do when I come out on my bike is worry with the cameras working properly. That's a bit incorrect, but I haven't been out for about a month really, because it's been pretty nasty, cold, icy weather. And today, as soon as I switch it on, it says there's a firmware update, but I did a firmware update about 2 weeks ago, because I knew there was one. So, I suppose there's been another one. Or, I'm just wondering if it didn't actually complete it, because it kind of downloads it to your phone if you do it that way. You can do it by putting it on the SD card. It's not the most agreeable way to do it though. I don't normally take the SD card out of mine. I'm quite happy to do it on the phone. So when I'll check that when I get back. But what's is a little bit worried, that makes you wonder if the version that I downloaded a week or so ago, and as far as I know installed, actually has something wrong with it. Anyway, it appears to be working at the moment. I think it said that it made some changes to the way the remote connects. I don't know whether that's good or bad, because I haven't really used it because it's so piss poor. I haven't been overly impressed with it. I notice this is a recent trend really. It's like every time you turn the Mavic Pro on, it would be having you upgrade the firmware. I'm surprised it stopped all that about nearly a year ago. Because it does the same thing, that every time you put it on you were wondering what was the change and is it all working alright. Anyway, this is ye olde Christmas Day afternoon ride out. It sounds like a joke, doesn't it? But there's nothing nicer. Because there's like hardly anybody about. You see a few odd cars after dinner. I mean, people go and visit relatives and such like. But look at the road, it's dry, it's like March. It's been very windy and mild. It's actually about 9 or 10 degrees, so it's not like outrageously mild, but it was last Christmas was very similar. Not quite as dry as this, I think, although I'm not sure, because I remember going down prior but thinking, well, how dry is it? We have had about 35 millimetres, and that's about half the normal for the month. Obviously the month isn't finished yet. So what did Santa bring me? Well, it's complicated. Actually, it didn't bring me anything, the miserable odd git. That looks suspicious like one of Christian's bags there. No, I bought, at the end of November, I decided I was fed up with the rather slow video editing on my computer, and I upgraded it to just a tower to a whole new setup, because the one I had, I mean, it's actually quite a good one in its day, but that was like 7 years ago. It's surprising how the time goes, and it doesn't really want to know about 4K. It can do it, but it's very slow with it. It's quite decent on 1080p. But anyway, the one I've got is probably 4 times faster, if not more. It was a bit of an extravagance really, but I thought, well, I spend so much time nowadays, rightly or wrongly, editing a video and messing about with it. And also it'll make my photo processing infinitely faster, almost instantaneous. So anyway, that eventually came on Friday before Christmas. That was the 23rd. Been just 1 day short of a whole month building it. It was supposed to be 5 to 10 working days, so it should have been here by about 15th of December. The latest, that was late. I contacted them once and they came up with the usual bullshitty answer. They said something, oh, we've been very busy and we had it on test and the motherboard failed. I found that rather unlikely, but that didn't exactly inspire confidence because you wonder if the motherboard's going to fail again. But I assume that if they run on test alright for say a day or non-stop, and I think they kind of stress it by making it do things. So one would assume that it's alright. Anyway, I've used it. I have rendered a bit of old 4K video from the drone, and it was fast. It wasn't like, oh my god, fast. It was infinitely faster than the other one. But I deliberately made lots of changes to the video, and that's what slows it down when you render. If you've made, adjusted your contrast and all the rest of it, if you make 1 or 2 changes, is no big deal. If you maybe change half a dozen little things like the colour balance, that's really slows it down. So anyway, I did like a 4-minute, maybe 5, 4K video, and it rendered in about 18 minutes, which isn't bad because it would normally take 2 or 3 hours. But I do think that I may find that in more normal, where I am deliberately trying to make it hard work, it'll just fly through a clip like that, having a coffee more or less, which is what you want. You don't want to be able to wait overnight for it and then find you, because it wasn't, so you render it and then you come back next morning when it's finally completed and you realise you left a little gap or something like that, and I just can't tolerate it. I know it doesn't really matter, but for the sake of rendering it again, I'll do that, because uploading at our house is a nightmare. Anything more than 1 gigabyte takes like well, up to 1 gigabyte I can do overnight. But what I tend to do, I tend to throttle it so that other things are still usable. I can throttle the upload to 300 kbs and it'll take all day. It's a bit like downloading a big torrent or something. And I can still use the internet for other things quite happily if I do that. You can even watch 1080p YouTube on another machine. It seems a long time ago now, and I came up here in the summer, late summer. The heather was out and I was using my drone from there. You've got to do it today just about. It's not that windy now. It was windy earlier, but it's eased off a little bit. It's tending to sort of come and go, which is not really a good thing. But the light is so muddy, I really just can't be bothered to bring it. Yeah, I can see the tip of the roof. All they had on this track was a post in the middle of the road, but they might have changed it. Just to see they've been putting new big barriers up. No, I think it was just it was like a post. Now, I've been up here before, and I see they've extended it somewhat. Looks like a luxury shed now. Sort of lockable. Yeah, locked though. minute I've stopped moving, my visor stayed up. I guess this is like a store. I like a little log store at the back. That's what that's for, isn't it? Because they've got a little wood burner in there. They made a good job of attaching it to the... I suppose these doors on the side are actually like windows behind. Well, I can't be bothered to open that. It's really tight. There'll be windows behind there, a bit of lighting. I have to say, when you've got this camera on your helmet, your neck and body, especially when you stand up like I'm doing now, makes quite a good gimbal anyway. So it's debatable whether it's really worth having the stabiliser turn on. Because I find it, if you expect you to look sort of queasy, it tends to like lock onto one position and then lurch to the next position. Ooh. Bit of back brake. This bike was so much more enjoyable if the bars were a little bit higher. There are ways of doing it, but I can't sure I can be bothered. It's when you stand up, you're in a very awkward, stoopy position. It doesn't matter if it's like 5 minutes, but if it's a real long track, like going on Rosedale, you bloody know about it. It starts to make your back funny because it's not. You're also, you know, bouncing over big bumps and things and using your body like a shock absorber. Ruins. This next house, I took a photo of it, never uploaded it, and at the time it was always covered in pigeons, so the owner used to put food out for them or keep them somewhere. It's a very charming house. And I put something in a comment about the photo. Look at all the pigeons or something stupid. And he got in touch with me. He was all indignant how it needed to be changed because the pigeons weren't there anymore. Silly twit. I did change it slightly, but it was pathetic. What's up that track there? Oh, there's a house up there. Do you know, I didn't know that. That's a mystery to me, that one. You can see the track's quite well used. Diddy Beck. What's the betting it's called? Glaisdale Beck. I was just beginning to wonder if this road was a dead end. I'm fairly sure that it goes along past Holston's, but I don't really know. I've only been on it odd time. Quite exciting. It's very like Friar, but it's so much like Friar, but it feels a little bit confusing. This is just like going along to Adgelon, except you've got woodland up there. Instead of, well, they have trees they've planted there too. Someone's been jetting slurry up the hill. This is they're doing some building work there, aren't they? Nab End. They've converted all the buildings into holiday there. This is the future of a lot of these smaller farms. What have we been doing here? It's like a moat. A very large pond. Could be there. There's the ploughs and things. Oh, there, look, behind there. It surprises me like that they're relatively modest buildings where they do all the work. Everything's stored away. They've got a lot of cattle. This is a tight, awkward little spot to get out of, isn't it? Oh, there, look, the tracks there. Church room. That little house there has been to sell for ages, under offer. But like a lot more, there's no parking. says it's a dead end and unsuitable for motors. That's not really true. It's unsuitable for some motors, but it's not a dead end. You never know what to find at this gate. It seems to suffer a bit with weather and wind, careless use, people bumping it. A lot of people turn around here though, because they didn't quite believe that it was going to be a dead end like it says. Oh, someone's lost their glove. But anyway, this is a relatively easy and rather enjoyable, quite long track, the Glaisdale rig. It's not very well known in my opinion compared to like Rutland. It doesn't really go from anywhere to anywhere. That's noticeable really, I suppose. But it's quite well maintained. They've actually been doing something at it. You see like there, that grey stuff, fairly recently, because there was a few quite nasty holes. It won't be long before the back, like. A lot of things have been going alongside there, but if it's full of water, I'm always quite wary of it. You never know what's in there. But I think that's a bike. You can generally, you're mostly better going down the middle, not always. But it is a little bit risky because you can sort of slip off. But I do have rather better tyres on now. I don't really do that so much. Michelin T63s or something like that, I think they are. The original ones, the front was especially bad. It used to be really good at just slipping down ruts and things, to the point it really fair put you off. See, this one is not just maintained quite so well. I'll still take it rather steady because I don't want to fall off on Christmas Day and break something while I'm on the bike on myself. But you see here, if you get in that middle, you're practically committed to it. You can't change. These are both fully legal green lanes, but they get, as a result, they get a bit overused in places. This one is not so. I think that, I guess that the owner of the Moor maintains the other one because they use it when they're shooting, but maybe don't use this one, so it gets a lot less attention. But when I first came down here, I was a little bit scared of these pools and things. Ooh, that one was quite deep. In the summer, I went up the road from White Cross. Oh, that was really deep. White Cross. And this little Suzuki Vitara went through this pool. But it was all like black peaty water flowing across the track. And I honestly didn't fancy it. I had my drone on my back, that was the worst of it. And I didn't have waterproof boots on, or little wellies or something. So I thought, if I have to stop and put my foot down, it falls over. So I just turned around and went back. Discretion was a better part of valour on that occasion. But so I wasn't even going to go there. It was only a bit of a last minute thought to try going along it. So easy. It's so easy it hurts. No, that's really it for the rough off-road stuff. I've got some water going down our welly from that deep pool. I haven't got a welly on, I've got a boot on. The motocross boot, it's coming down from above. Woo! Yeah, so this is Fry Up, which I am still recording. I just suddenly thought I wasn't sure it was. It's sort of similar to Glaisdale, really, especially along here past Agilon if I go that way. My clock says it's 4:01, but it's probably 3:01. Not nearer to 3 than 4. I was just looking at on the between those hills that way. There's an orange roof, and John Lees, the aerial man, used to live there with his missus, and they used to do have horses. I think that they're split up, but that's irrelevant really with the way it goes so. And it's been sort of tarted up in its cycle hire place, but they also have a cafe and things. I think I'll go this way. I don't mind going past Agilon. It's quite nice. I just think I've made enough today now. But anyway, someone's coming up here. They're going into the house. This is steep. Anyway, it's a cycle outlet, and they have a cafe and all sorts of camping pods, it says, but they aren't available yet. In fact, almost nothing's available except for a holiday letting one of the houses, because there's like a house and a barn or something converted. It's a bit out of the way though, isn't it? You'd have to be quite determined to come up here. Cafe open. So that's really, I think that's far more agreeable than just having let another fancy barn conversion stroke holiday let. Fairy Cross. Everyone's been spreading slurry, it's not fair. I assume they're using an umbilical. See, this has become a venue. See, that barn is converted with a new wooden thing on the side. but they use the ruins as part of the venue with a, they often have like a marquee inside. Small one. This is a nice thing about Christmas Day, it's kind of dead. Oh god, you've got to pay to park here. Motorcycles are supposed to pay £1.50. Because you can use it, a lot of people use it as a base to walk from. I don't think most of the pubs don't open here now. Let's just admire the lights, such as they are. I understand this camera is quite good in low light. It's just running. We've even got an illuminated for sale sign. It's always a bit sad that some of them put these Christmas lights out and they're still there next April. There's more at the top half, but so we're a bit spoilt for choice now. These little twinkly lights, firstly, they're very inexpensive to run because they're LED now mostly. And they're not particularly dear to buy. And there's just such a huge choice. Most of them come from China. Well, I have to say that was a really enjoyable Christmas run out. And I hope I got some nice video too. So, with that, we shall close at this point.